all the time. It happens so many times throughout our day, and this is a good thing that you're here. New Year's Eve resolutions. You know, people get focused on New Year's, the 31st. But very few people stay focused over the long term. And that's the real issue. The real magic is getting focused and also staying focused. So if you're like me, how do you get focused and stay focused? You go online and you find out what they have to say. They say this: get a good night's sleep, get out in nature, take breaks, exercise, listen to music, eat a very balanced diet, avoid caffeine, declutter your office space, work offline, and get this is my favorite. Have a to-do list. So who has time for all of these things? It's crazy. Most people who set New Year's Eve resolutions in January don't stay focused. The magic is getting focused and staying focused. So what we're going to learn in this hour is how to do just that. How to get focused on what's important to you. And I asked everybody to write down something that's important. I'll give this to you. You can do that now if you like. And it's really about making your dreams come true by focusing on what's important to you. And not only getting there, but staying there. That's the key. So let me ask you this. How do you, and I'm curious, how do you get focused and stay focused? What are some of the things that you do? Anybody? Yes?
By learning.
Learning.
Making learning projects.
Learning projects. Very good. Anybody else? Yes?
Just force myself.
Say it.
Force myself.
Force, yeah, force, like the will, like forcing the will, right? That's, so learning, forcing your will.
Or repeating what I have to do.
Repeating it again and again and again. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's for you. You can come on. Anything else? Anything else that you do? Yes?
Sometimes I need to just step away.
Yeah. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a break. Any other things that you guys do to get focused and stay focused? Yes?
Like undistracted time.
Yes. Downtime.
Nobody's going to distract me.
Yes.
Lockdown. Preferably when my Wi-Fi's down.
Yeah, yeah, unplug. Yeah, unplug everything. These are all great answers, but they're not the best answer. The best answer is what most people rely on is their conscious mind. Most people rely, like willpower or learning, but it's their conscious mind. They rely on their conscious mind. The trick is the conscious mind can easily trip you up. I wish you were with me. The year was 1972. It was in Danbury, Connecticut. I was at my grandparents' house on Christmas Day. I turned 10 years old. I was born on Christmas. My father married into a big Italian family. So picture this. This is way before computers, way before cell phones. Everyone's in the basement of my grandparents' house. The tree's lit. You can smell the pasta. Everybody's smoking inside. I mean, this was a new era, an old era. Everybody's drinking and smoking, and everybody, because it's an Italian family, everybody's talking at the same time, and there's a lot of distraction. All of a sudden, my Uncle Victor Riley, the only other Irishman in the room except for my dad, he picks up a coin, a quarter, and he says, "Greg, look at this." And he goes like this, and it's gone. And I went, oh my, he reminded me of St. Nick, but a skinny St. Nick with a twinkle in his eye, kind of devilish, you know? And I said to him, "Vic, how did you do that?" Because I was thinking, if I could learn how to do that and go to school and show that, I'd be famous, you know? And he goes, "I can't tell you. I can't tell you, kid." I said, "I know, but I can keep a secret." He goes, "So can I." So that night, this really happened, 1972, I'm begging him, "Vic, show me how you did that." He just took it like this and it was gone. He says, "I can't tell you." Finally, I nagged him and I nagged him and I nagged him. Finally, he says, come here, I'm going to tell you. I said, "What?" That was the night changed my life, because that was the night that he introduced me to misdirection. And what misdirection taught me, and if you're taking notes, this is the first point. What misdirection taught me is that the conscious mind is easily distracted. Let's say that together. The conscious mind is easily distracted. So this is what she showed me. Take your hand like this and make a fist. Just make a fist just like this and bring one of your fingers up just like that. Okay, now we got to start again because that's your thumb, not your finger. Misdirection. Conscious mind is easily distracted. Now make a circle. So you're going to make a circle with your fingers and also with your thumb. You're going to hold it right next to your ear, right over here. You're going to take the circle and you're going to put it right on your chin. For those of you that are confused, here's your chin, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, misdirection. All right, here's another one.
This is Simon Says.
The conscious mind is easily distracted. Last January, a year ago, I was at the MGM and David Copperfield was there. What's your first name? Michael. Michael, I was sitting where Michael was at the MGM, front row. David Copperfield was standing right in front of me. Like, I would say 10 feet away. I mean, it was insane. Front row tickets, I paid $150 for it. This is what David does when he comes out on stage. He takes his hands like this with nothing in it. You can do it with me. Take your left and bring it over the right. So you're going to take your left and bring it over the right, just like this. And then what you do, if you can do it, you want to bring your fingers down just like this and hold it really tight. Now, if you're doing it right, I can't see everybody, but your pinky should be at the top. Your thumb should be right here at the bottom, sir, right there.
Like yoga.
Exactly. Now just follow me and don't hurt yourself. You ready? Misdirection. The conscious mind is easily distracted. So I'm going to show this to you, but you kind of promise that you don't tell anybody because it is a trade secret. If you go out to MGM in Vegas and you see David Copperfield, after he appears on stage, he's going to go like this, going to go like this, and then he's going to do this. So you got to promise that you don't tell anybody. You can share it, but just don't tell anybody how he does it. All right, follow me. Take the left over the right, just like this. Now you bring your fingers down like that, and we all did it together. Just like this. Your pinky should be facing the ceiling, your thumb's at the bottom. Yeah, exactly. So what I did is I said, your pinkies are at the top, just like Michael's got his pinkies at the top. And at that point I said, your thumbs will be right here, and I let go. I let go. But because you weren't tracking me, you didn't see it, but I brought my hands together like this. So this time I want you to focus, like really focus. Put away the phone, put away the piece of papers that you have. Really focus all of your attention, because we're going to do it. But this time, I want you to focus on when I let go. All right? So that's the assignment. Everybody up to it? Good. Hands like this. Turn it like this. Pinkies at the top. Thumbs at the bottom. And this is where I let go. But I don't have to, because I already did. I already did. Misdirection. This is what misdirection taught me, that the conscious mind is easily distracted. So people who try to get focused on New Year's Eve and stay focused into January, February, March, April, they're relying on their conscious mind and they're easily distracted. That's the reason why they don't follow through. If misdirection had a husband, his name would be multitask. Now, multitask is something we all do. I do it, you do it, but the research shows that it is not good for us. Not at all. I drove from Connecticut today. It took me a couple hours, but I know this for sure. In America, 400,000 people every single year get hurt because they're driving the car and the phone goes off and they look down at the phone and they get hurt in a car accident. 400,000 people just in America are 1 year. The average person picks up their phone, and I'm not making anybody wrong because I do it too. They tap it, they swipe it, they click it 2,600 times a day. That's how many. The average person that goes to work for a company wastes 12 and a half hours per week because they're not engaged in their employment. They're not engaged in what's going on in the company. So they're focused on something else. Now, I don't know how they figure this out, but $650 billion is wasted every single year because people are not engaged at work. They're looking at something else, they're doing something else, most likely they're probably on their cell phone. Sadly, 4,000 people die every single year because they're driving a car. Cell phone goes off at the wrong time, and that's the last time they pick up their phone. 4,000 people die. So what misdirection taught me is that the conscious mind is easily distracted, and it happens all the time. Now, if misdirection and multitask had a family, the baby would be called overwhelmed. And this is what happens. We got too many things going on and we feel overwhelmed. There's media, there's the cell phone, there's people. It's too many things that are going on and we feel completely overwhelmed. There was a guy by the name of George Miller who wrote a paper called The Magical Number of 7. How many? 7. Say it, 7. And what he said was billions of bits of information are coming at us at the same time. billions. We can't focus on all of it. When we try to focus on everything, we get overwhelmed because we can't handle it. There's a video on the internet called The Monkey Business Illusion. Has anybody seen it? The Monkey Business Illusion?
Is it YouTube?
Yes, YouTube. You can Google it after here. Don't do it now. It's called The Monkey Business Illusion. By the way, if you want this video, I will send it to you. So you don't have to take copious notes. You'll get the video, so don't worry about it. Just smile. All right, so Monkey Business Illusion. It's two groups. It's one group over there all wearing white, and then over here there's a team wearing black, like me, and they're passing a basketball. And they ask people to focus on how many times the basketball is being passed on this team over here. Spoiler alert, if you look at it, the number is 16. So they ask people after the video shows how many times they have the basketball over here at this team. People say 14, 15, some people get it right, 16. And then they say this: did you see the gorilla? They have a guy like 6'5" walking out in a gorilla suit in the middle, and he goes like this and walks off the stage, and only 50% of the people that are counting the passes of the basketball actually see the gorilla. Why? The conscious mind is easily distracted. I learned this when I was 10 years old in 1972 when Victor Riley taught this to me. Now, I don't have a gorilla, but it would be like this. If I said to you, look around the room for 7 things that are red, like I'm looking at this over here, this is red. This is genius, by the way, whoever thought of this. But there's red here, there's red here, there's red over there. We could easily find the red on the flag, red over there. We could easily find 7 things that are red, right? However, if I said to you, now look around the room and find 7 things that are blue, oh, you could do that, that. You can count it, you can find it, that's blue over there. But then if I said to you, now another 7 things that were red, another 7 things that were blue, you would be overwhelmed. And the reason why you'd be overwhelmed is because you can't just take it all in. It's impossible. So getting back to the monkey business illusion, they show the video again to the folks, but they say, this time look for the gorilla. You know, don't worry about counting passes, that's just misdirection. Just look for the gorilla. So they play the video again, and they're passing the basketball, the gorilla walks out, he beats his breast, goes like this, and then they shut off the video. How many of you saw the gorilla? Everybody did. They're all happy with themselves. They saw the gorilla. Then they said, how many of you noticed that the curtain that was red changed to blue? Nobody did. Why? Because, you know the answer. What is it? The conscious mind is easily distracted. Say it with me. The conscious mind is easily distracted. So the reason why people get focused on New Year's Eve and they don't stay focused is they're using their willpower. They're using will, or they're using learning, or they're just trying to, force of nature, everything that they can. But primarily what they're relying on is the conscious mind, which is easily distracted. So you would think that the answer would be the unconscious, wouldn't it? Here's the challenge. Our unconscious mind has been programmed since the time we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most people think 80% of what we think, say, and do is based on those first 8 years of programming. This is what's really, it's going to be overwhelming. We're going to do questions and answers in a few minutes, but hold on to it, because I'll be off track. You'll misdirect me. So here's what happened. I'm sitting there in the late 70s in New Fairfield, Connecticut. My mom, Italian, big brown eyes. She's rolling her eyes because these commercials are coming on. Exorcist, Poltergeist, all this kind of crazy stuff. And I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She's like, Greg, be careful what you expose your mind to. I'm like, Mom, now I'm like 17. I don't care. I don't want to listen to my mom. Mom, really? She goes, listen, Greg, be careful what you expose your mind to. Because what you see, what you feel, and what you hear is being programmed. I said, they're just commercials. They're just commercials. She said, no, the unconscious mind is easily programmed. Now, I did not believe her. I kind of resisted it. But let me test this out with you. This hasn't been on for years, but I bet you know. Don't squeeze the Charmin, right? Where's the Beef. Remember that one? That wasn't even on for a whole year, and we still remember it. Now here's another one that I remember. I think it was Barry Manilow that came up with this jingle. You deserve a break today at, what is it? McDonald's, yeah. This stuff has been off the air for years. They've been showing it to us for years. We see it, it conjures up a feeling, and it's in our subconscious mind. I think the greatest example for me is a movie called Groundhog Day by Bill Murray. How many of you seen it? Have you seen it? I love this movie. I watch it every February. Think of a triangle. I'm wearing a triangle here, but think of a triangle. At the top of the triangle is Bill Murray's ego, or I should say Phil. I think his name is Phil Connors. It's all about him. He doesn't care about anything else. It's all about me, 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 me. If you think of a triangle, he's at the top of the triangle. So Groundhog Day, the alarm clock goes off, don't make me sing, Sonny and Cher, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Right? And then all of a sudden he hears these words. Rise and shine, campers, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold outside. It's Groundhog Day. He gets up, he walks out, he looks out the window, Noveler Hill. He sees all these people going to Groundhog, because it's Groundhog Day. No big deal. The next day is the same day. And the next day is the same day. Now, people who are really into this cult classic say it goes on for 1,000 years. I don't know. But all I know is he struggles. He repeats these patterns because he's at the top of the triangle. It's all about him. So that's dictating his actions, what he says, and what he does. Now, here's what started. About 10 years ago, I was doing research on the topic, and I discovered that 45 to 65,000 thoughts that we have every day, 90% of them are repeated the next day. So today is Wednesday. We have anywhere from 45 to 65,000 thoughts today. Work, family, whatever we do. Tomorrow, we're going to have 90% of those same thoughts. It's Groundhog Day. People that really dig into this say we have anywhere from 43 to 48% of what we say, think, and do is repetitive. Is habitual. So think about your own life right now. The clothes that you wear. I have lots of clothes. I tend to wear black. But you know what I mean. You have shoes, you have clothes, you wear the same things, you eat the same food, you talk to the same people, you drive the same places. The reason why, I think, is because we like comfort. We like things to stay the same. So 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, 90% of them are the same, and 43 to 48% of our life, what we think, say, and do, is repetitive. So you're probably thinking of your own life right now. People you know, right? But I'd like you to think about this. I'd like you to think of two different geometric shapes, simple ones, one inside the other, and a number in the middle with two different colors. How many of you thought of a triangle, a circle, a 7, or red or blue? Raise your hand if you thought of any of those things. Right? Now, there's a reason for it. I mentioned the magical number of 7. I've been talking about 7s. I've been making the symbol of a triangle. I'm wearing a triangle. Look at your car. What color is on it? Red, and if you flip it over, blue. That's, hold on, that's on purpose. Red and blue is all on purpose. The number 7 is it. Remember I talked about the curtain? What color was it? Red, and it changed to blue. The flag, red and blue. So these are just examples of how we get programmed by our environment, by our own thoughts, by other people's thoughts, by the media. Now the reason I share this with you is because our programmed default mind isn't going to help us stay and get focused. It's not, because we've already been programmed. It's like hitting up against a wall. If you remember the movie Groundhog Day, what is he doing? He's trying to change. He's trying to change. He's trying. It doesn't work. Because what's going on is he thinks he's the most important person in the room. And it's not until he has a shift that he realizes that everything can shift. But until that does shift, nothing shifts. Now, I don't know about you, I can relate. During my 30s and 40s, I struggled big time. I don't mean I was homeless. I wasn't homeless. I wasn't living in my car or anything like that. But I would make money and then I would lose money. I'd get into business ventures and then I would get out of business ventures. But for 20 years, I read books, I took courses, I took seminars, I coached with business people. But there was something that was holding me back, almost like a governor in a car. Like I couldn't break through. And I'm not saying it was really bad, it's just that I wasn't successful where I thought I could be. And then something changed. I went out to Vegas and I got to speak at a conference, and after the conference was over, there was a party of magicians and entertainers and business people in Vegas. And I was not invited to the party. But I knew somebody that was at the party, and they got me into the party. And I met this guy by the name of Kenton Nepper. Probably none of you know this man. But very successful business person, almost a wizard at business. And as I got to meet him and know him, I finally got the courage to ask him to coach me. And he agreed. And I paid him a ridiculous amount of money. And I literally moved into his house. I did, for 2 days. And I asked him, I said, you know, I've been struggling for 2 decades. I've been reading the books, spending the money. What is the secret to getting focused and staying focused? He says, can you keep a secret, Greg? I said, what? I said, why would you ask me, can I keep a secret? He said, because what I'm about to tell you, you can't just tell people. You have to teach them, you have to show them, you have to mentor them. I said, okay, fine. What is it? I promise. I'm not just going to tell people flippantly at a cocktail party. That's why you're here, that's why I'm here. What's the answer, Ken? And this is what he told me. You must learn how to consciously condition your unconscious mind. I said, what? He said, it's simple. You have to learn how to consciously condition your unconscious mind for what you want. And I looked at him, I was like really puzzled. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how does somebody do that? He says, imagination. I go, imagination. Now, I can't teach you everything that he taught me because we spent 2 days, but I did create something which I'm actually going to give away. It is actually a downloadable file of a PDF that he shared with me on reflection and meditation. And all it is a downloadable file with a bunch of bonuses for the first person that knows the answer to this question. So hopefully you paid attention. Hopefully you focused.
Greg.
That's a good one. Who's got triangle? What was the year I was at my grandparents' house?
72.
Oh, you both got it. So I'm going to give one to you, and I'm going to give one to you, but I'll give you the other one later. All right, so just remind me. Excellent, 1972. You can't share it. Once you download it, you can't give it to anyone. But see me afterwards, I have another one for you.
Denver.
Denver would have been another one, yes.
Were you 10, right?
Yes, I was 10. You all can get one, that's fine.
So you just turned 60.
You know what?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have them available if you want. A small donation, it's not a big deal. So let's play along. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about with my imagination. So put everything aside, let me show you what I'm talking about. This is one of the things he taught me. Imagine that I have in my hand a lemon. A lemon. So it's yellow. See it? And if you were to bring it up to your nose, you can smell it. And if you touch the lemon, imagine that you're doing it now. If you touch the lemon, you can feel the bumps on the lemon. And then imagine this. Imagine this. I take out a knife, right? And I cut into the lemon. And all of a sudden, the juices are starting to come down here like this. Some of you are seeing this. Some of you are getting the sensation of this. Now then, I take the lemon, and I put it up to my nose, and I can smell the smell of lemon. Right? Now watch this. I want to see if you get a reaction. If you're using your imagination, I'm going to take the lemon, the half that I'm holding in my hand, and I'm going to put it up to my mouth, and I'm going to bite into it for a moment. How many of you felt the sensation?
No.
Did you? You? No?
No.
None of you?
Sour.
Sour. You felt it?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit?
I was going there.
You were going there. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So imagination is the key. Imagine what you see, what you feel, and what you hear. What's your first name?
Lisa.
Lisa, could you join me up stage with...
Oh, gosh, no.
Oh, could you join me up stage? You want to join me? Somebody. All right, give her a hand. What's your name?
Rula.
Rula. Very nice. Now, what does Rula mean? Is there like etymology to it, or...?
Sort of, yeah. It's a precious metal.
Very nice. Like a diamond, gold?
Like from many years ago,
Yes.
used for money, but
Very
it's like platinum.
Very nice. Platinum's better, though.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you wrote down something. I have no idea what it is. Right. Okay, good. So, all of you can do do this, this is using your imagination. And what I have found is very intelligent people do very well at this. Because what they're doing is they're tapping into their imagination. So everybody do this. Hold out your hands just like this. You can do it too. And what you're doing is you're imagining that between your two hands is what you want. So whatever you wrote down, some people wrote down love, some people wrote down family or travel or money or career, whatever it is, I want you to imagine it as a white ball in between your two hands. And one of your hands is your unconscious mind, and the other hand is your conscious mind. And I want you to use your imagination that what is happening here is that your hands are coming together. And the reason why they're coming together is there's almost like a magnetic pull bringing your fingers and your hands together. And this is an indication not only of your intelligence, but it's also an indication that what you wrote down is good for you. That your conscious mind and also your unconscious mind will make this happen in this new year, which is 2023. So as you're visualizing this ball of energy between your fingers and your hands, you're seeing that your fingers and your hands are coming closer together. You're doing it, but you're doing it with your imagination, just like a little kid would when you're like 7 years old. And your fingers are coming together, and your hands are coming together. There's this pulling of a magnetic pull that's an indication that what you wrote down is good for you. And not only is it good for you, but your conscious mind is working with your unconscious mind to make it happen. And in time, it's going to happen. Now, you gotta have patience. Just because you wrote down something tonight, or just because you wrote down something on New Year's Eve, or you thought about something, doesn't mean it's going to happen in a week or a month. It might take some time, or maybe not. And just imagine that your fingers are coming together. Now, are your fingers coming together? Did that happen? Okay, good.
Thumbs.
All right, yeah, her thumbs. How many other people had that reaction? Oh, you did as well. So this is what Kenton taught me. Okay, you can put your hands by the side. What he taught me is that people who are successful and stay focused and get focused, the way that they create magic in their life is they use their imagination with their visualization. Athletes do this, actors do this, professional speakers do this. Anybody that wants to have something happen, they visualize it ahead of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Now the second thing is to feel it. Now I want you to think about what you wrote down. I want you to think about what you all wrote down. It's really important that you feel that what you wrote down you're going to get. Because if you feel that, oh, you know, I'm not worthy, or this isn't going to happen, or this, then you're probably not going to get it. All right? So let me tell you a true story. 20 years ago, when I was struggling, I took out a pen and I wrote down some things that I wanted to see happen in my life. I wanted to go to Fiji. I wanted to go to Rome. I wanted to travel all over Europe. And I didn't have the money, and I didn't have the access to do any of it. Now I lead a retreat company that I take people all over the world. It happened, I believe, because I wrote things down. So what we're going to do is going to have you write down something, which is a number between 1 and 12. I'll give you the pen. There you go. And all you have to do is on the other side, just circle a number. Don't let me see it. Now, I'm going to tell you a true story. I don't know how you feel about these two people, but this is a true story. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the first time they met, they were at a wedding. And they came to the wedding. I just need the pen back. And piece of paper. Down, face down, so I don't see it. So what happened was, Bill sat over there, and Warren Buffett sat over there. And what happened, the mother came over and said, I want you to write down a word that represents, Bill, why you are successful. And then they asked Warren, write down a word that represents why you're successful. What do you think they wrote down? Anybody?
Couldn't say.
You got it.
Oh, wow.
It was focused. This is what caught my attention. Because Bill and Warren, they never talked. It was the first time they met. And they both wrote down, they turned over the pieces of paper, and the word was focus. I really believe that successful people, they know how to get focused, but they also know how to stay focused. That's the real magic. And these people, whether you like them or not, they're very successful, and they are very focused. So here's what we're going to do. You all have a washer. I'm going to give this to you. Very expensive
Do I
pocket.
keep it?
It's very expensive. You have to come home with me. I don't know if that's appropriate to say anymore. All right, so hold it up like this. So you hold it up like this. Are you right-hander or left-hander?
Right.
Okay, so hold it in your right hand. Everybody hold up your pendulum. You should have a washer with a string on it. Does everybody have one? You have one?
On the table. Well, I know what you're gonna
Oh, I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Here. There you go.
do. I love this.
All right. So here's how this works. This is a window into your unconscious mind. So hold it up just like this and think about what you wrote down. Everybody hold it up like this and think about what you wrote down. And if what you wrote down is good for you, very good for you, you should notice that it goes around in a circle. So it should go around in a circle. So take a look. Is it a circle? What do you got?
Not yet.
You sure?
It's a circle or a turn.
All right.
It's gonna go.
Well, think about what you want. Think about what you wrote down. Like whatever you wrote down, that's the key thing. So every single one of you wrote down something different, right? All right. Now, if what you wrote down is not good for you, it probably should go back and forth. Back and forth. Ooh,
Back and forth.
that is going
Tell
back.
them it's back.
That is going back.
It's not good for me?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's going straight toward me.
It's going back and forth.
It is going back and forth. All right, do you notice that?
What if it doesn't move?
If it doesn't move, your unconscious mind doesn't really know whether it is or not. So that's the key. Now you can practice, I'm going to need these back, but you can practice this at home because the secret here is that the unconscious mind is always listening to you, always listening to you. So let me ask you this. What number did you write down earlier?
You want me to tell everyone?
Yeah,
12.
there it is. 12. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. That's very good. Thank you so much. Does that say 12? Did you know I was going to do that? Did you know that was going to happen? Okay, thanks.
What does yours say?
Mine? It doesn't matter because I'm here for you.
All right.
So I'm going to show you one other thing which I think is worth, I want to say thousands, and I really mean this. So here's the person I'm looking for. I'm looking for a person that is really serious about their New Year's resolution. They're really serious about getting it. They're really serious about staying and getting focused. And they want to have an exercise that they can take home with them that's going to help them get it. Is there anybody here that wants to see this? In other words, you participate with me. I promise not to. Okay, yeah, I promise. What's your first name?
Christine.
Christine, give her a hand. Okay, Christine, stand over here. So what Kenton taught me, face that, what Kenton taught me is that imagination is the key. Imagination is what gets you focused and stays focused. Is what you see, what you feel, and what you hear. So we're going to focus on the hearing right now. So you wrote down something, yes? On that piece of card? Okay, good. And what I'd like you to do is I wrote down on these cards affirmations. So there's 52 cards here, and you can flip them over and look at them. The first card says on it, stay positive, think successful. Take a look at the second card on the top. The next card says there's only one rule in life, and that is to love yourself. Take a look at the third card down. The third card says no fear. What does it say?
No fears and no limits.
No limits. The next one, if you flip it over, says imagination is the first step towards reality. The next one says be a visionary, right? So every single card has an affirmation on it, because what I've done is I've memorized every card and just shuffle them up really quick, and then pick a card that you like. In other words, you absolutely love it. So you can look at the deck and you can fan it out and you can look at every single card. Just pick one of them. It's going to be your affirmation for tonight. This is going to be the thing that she's going to focus on. And you can tell everybody, it's okay. You got one? What do you got?
The real beauty is within you.
The real beauty is within you. That is wonderful. So I'm going to have you hold on to that. The real beauty is within you. So you wrote down something on that card. And is it based Don't say it, I can see it, but don't tell anybody. So imagine that there's a circle here. And that circle is what I would call a circle of excellence. It's powerful, it's a feeling of goodness. What color would that circle be? Blue. All right. All right. Now, can you remember a time when you felt really excited? Can you think of a time? Can you also think of a time when you felt a lot of joy and happiness? Yes?
Sure.
Okay, good. Now what I want you to do is step in that circle, that blue circle. Okay, now say that affirmation that you said on that card. What does it say?
Real beauty is within you.
Excellent. Now step back. Now on a scale to 1 to 10, 10 being on the floor, 1 being on the floor, 10 being really high, how do you feel about making that happen in this year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 is like, definitely going to do it. 1 is like, I doubt if it's going to happen. 5 is like, middle of the road. How do you feel? Honestly.
Oh yeah, like 5.
5. Excellent. All right, good. Step back.
Anywhere between 5 and 10, I think is good.
I think it is. What if we can get you to 8 in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, now I want you to think of another time, last year, 2022, where you felt elated. Just elated.
I have a bad memory, and that's why I came tonight.
Oh, that's fine.
So, I'm sure related in 2022.
How about a fun
Okay, yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay, excellent. Now say that out loud.
Okay.
Say that out loud.
Beauty
Is within you.
is within you.
Now step in the circle. All right. Wipe that smile on your face. How do you feel now? Same?
5.
You still 5? Okay.
Oh,
so
5?
5 or more. What do you feel?
6. Try.
So now she's a 6. So here's what we're doing. We're just playing with her imagination. She's adding an audible, so she's saying something to herself. Now I'll have you step over here on this side. All right. Now, imagine, now what did we get you from a 5 to a 6, and we're only using her imagination. I asked her to see a circle, visual, right? I asked her to say something out loud. She also had a feeling involved, right? Because she smiled and she started feeling happy. Step back just a little bit. Now, there's a circle here that represents sadness, struggle, maybe even depression. Now we all have had things like this happen. Can you think of a time when you just felt frustrated, or you felt like, oh gosh, this is never going to happen, or maybe even depressed or sad? Can you think of a time now where you felt sad? Okay, she's already got it. All right. What color would that circle be?
Just kept seeing red.
Red. Fine, step into the circle. Now say that out loud like you don't mean it. Like you don't mean it. Like it's not true.
The real beauty is within you.
Oh my God, that was so, Right now, how do you feel on the scale of 1 to 10? Are you still at 6?
No.
What are you?
4.
She's a 4. So here's the magic. All we're doing is playing with her imagination. You're doing it, not me. What she sees, what she says to herself, and how she feels. You do this every day. I do this every day. We all do this every day. Watch this. I have, well, just put the card here. You won't need it because I think you got it memorized. I have here a lock, and I have 2 keys. Now, both of these keys will not open the lock. So face the audience, and I want to let you know that ahead of time, that these keys are not going to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to step into that red circle, and then you're going to try both of the keys, and you're going to feel the feeling of frustration because the lock is not going to open. Now think about what you've wrote down and also connect it with frustration and that not working. Try the other key again. Don't break the lock, but neither one of these keys will work. Now on a scale of 1 to 10, did that impact you at all? Are you at the same place?
Distracted.
You're distracted. Okay, so do you feel anything? Okay, so step back out. That's okay. All right. So now
I'm
what
used to
what's that?
I'm used to keys and locks giving me troubles. I
Okay.
have very low expectations of achieving this to open.
That's fine. Well, also because I told you it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So imagine your dream is not going to happen. Imagine that what you wrote down, you're going to write down 12 months from now. That you're also going to say, oh, here we go. Why even make New Year's resolutions? Yeah, the real beauty's within me. This is all BS. I don't believe any of this. Look at this. Do you know what I'm saying? Now step into the circle.
Over and over again.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. Now how do you feel right now? 4, 3. After that? You don't care, or how are you? On the scale of 1 to 10?
Super great time, thank you.
Oh, good. But how do you feel on a scale?
I mean, I understand where you're going. Like,
But are you
more
different?
hopeless feeling, less than positive. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, do you feel that right now, or how do you feel? Like, honestly, how do you
I
feel?
feel open to learning.
Okay, good.
Like,
Excellent. That's one. All right, let's step over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give her the key that opens the lock. Now, I wouldn't set you up and I wouldn't humiliate you. So this is all for real. What I'm about to say to you is 100% true. I'm going to give you this key. We're playing with her imagination. This key is different than those two keys. Right? This key, it opens. This opens. Those two don't open. So she's going to get the result in her head first, before it happens. Because this is what Kenton taught me. He said, imagination. I said, what do you mean imagination? He says, Greg, it all has to do with consciously conditioning your unconscious mind in advance by what you see, what you feel, and what you hear. So here's the key. I will not set you up 100% as I'm standing here. You're going to take this key. I want you to see this. I want you to get the feeling of the tumblers as you take this key,
Okay.
right? In fact, you can drop the other 2 keys in there because you're not going to need them for now. And you're going to put this in, you're going to see this go in, you're going to turn the lock, you're going to feel it, you're going to get the feeling, and you're going to hear it click. And then I'm going to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, as the real beauty is within you, right, how you feel about that. Go ahead, do it. Step into your circle, turn it. How do you feel?
Well, it's very satisfying though.
Okay, back up. So tell me exactly on a scale of 1 to 10 how you feel.
Satisfying.
Okay, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I'll give you a
7.
number. I'll give you 7.
All right, 7. So what do? We took her from a 5 to a 6. Over here she was a 4. Now she's at a 7. What are we doing? We're simply playing with her imagination. This is what Kenton taught me. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because you can do the same thing. What you see, what you feel, and what you hear about what you look at. So now what I want you to do is lock the lock and face the audience. Just lock it. Excellent. Is it locked? All right, good. Lock the lock.
There we go.
All right, excellent. Drop the key in here. All right, so we got 3 keys in here. 3 keys in there. Yes? Yes, yes. Okay, excellent. So, now what I want you to do is I want you to believe the affirmation that you wrote there and the card that you picked, which is the real beauty. The real beauty is within you. In other words, here's what I want her to know. All the resources that she needs to make that happen is within her. Make sense? All right. 3 keys. You're going to pick 1 key. You're going to step into your circle. You're going to say the real beauty is within me. And you're going to pick the white key. Now, what are the chances? She's got 3 keys, right? How do you feel about this?
I feel like the lock feels different.
Well, that's the
Like
same
it
lock.
wasn't pushed all the way down.
What, is it locked now?
Yeah, it's completely.
Okay.
That's the right one.
I'm hoping.
I'm gonna try.
But here's the deal. What is she saying to herself? I'm going to try. Now I'm saying to her, face the audience, face the audience. Now I want you to think of a time when you were really positive about something that happened in your life that was really good, right? And instead of saying, I'm going to try, she's saying to herself, the real beauty's within me. Right? All right. So there's 3 keys. You can take whatever one you want. And I have a good feeling you're going to open a lot. What do you feel? 2 keys in here. Step in the circle. There you go. And how do you feel now? All right, excellent. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. All right, at this point, I take questions and answers for a couple minutes. We have 15 minutes. I have something else to show you. Remind me I give you a card. If you want one of those cards, they're only $20. It's a donation. It has ebooks on it. I wrote ebooks on it. Kenton wrote ebooks on it. It also has access to a course that I've written. So there's a lot more on the the file that is worth $20. But if you want one, you're going to get one. But if you want one, see me after. But any questions?
I feel like I won the lottery.
You did. You did. I've been working on this material for 20 years. Yes, sir.
What is the significance of the triangle? I have some triangle in my past where it means a mark. You know anything about that?
It really has to do with focused energy and the point. So the reason why I put it on the card is because there's only one point to a triangle, and a lot of times people will say, well, I have priorities. I have 10 priorities. Well, your only priority tonight was to be here at 6:30. So the idea is there's one point, and that's why I had you write down one word. So the focus of the triangle is that. That's the reason why I did that. Any other questions? Yes?
Did you condition her at all by moving her?
Yes. So what I did is I conditioned her by anchoring her to over here to a blue circle, right? I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
A blue circle. And over here was a red circle. And yes, it's an anchoring process of different places on the stage. I've also done that with my lecture. Over here I talked about the past. I talked about 1972. Then I talked about the later 70s with my mom, which was over here. And then over here, I went over here and I talked about my friend Kenton. So it's anchoring people on stages. And we do this to ourselves. And advertisers do this to us. They anchor us with certain words and colors and phrases and music. So yes, that's what I did. Good observation. Any other questions?
I remember from school days too, something about subliminal.
Yes.
It was in marketing class.
Yes.
It was the camel and the smoking.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's there. It's, you know, here's what I've learned. You can do this to yourself. As long as you know the point of what's important to you, you can condition yourself consciously to make it happen. Yes.
So do you feel like writing is the best technique for, like, handwriting? Like
Yes.
handwriting
Writing.
on paper,
Yes. Yes.
better than writing on a computer?
Yes.
Or writing on a phone?
I do believe. I have notes. I have.
Like, it's like the universe respects the
Yes.
written word better than anything else.
What I do, you don't have to do it, but since 2009, I've written down 5 things every single day that I'm grateful for. So I have a stack of books this high. If you write down 5 things that you're grateful for every day, at the end of the year, you'll have 1,825 entries. And then what I do is I look over my year, and when somebody says you have a good year or a bad year, it's not subjective. I look through my year, and it's almost like when people die, their whole life flashes in front of them. I'm able to look at the year, and I'm able to see the magic moments, and I look for that. And they become self-fulfilling prophecies, because I'm using my imagination with visualization, what I feel and what I hear. And it's like magic, it really is.
So do you believe in the magic?
I do.
That book, that whole series,
Who
The
wrote-
Secret, that's.
Oh, yeah. The only thing is, I do believe you have to take action. People visualize and they don't do anything. A lot of people don't execute. What's really important is not only to see it and believe it, but to also execute. You know, it's like somebody says, I want to meet somebody, and they stay home every day. You know, so it doesn't make any sense. So you have to believe it, but you also have to take action. Yeah. So, yes, sir.
How long has this worked for you?
It's worked for me for the last decade. I got traction in my late 40s. My 50s have been great, and I have a plan for my 60s. The first couple years, I struggled, but for the last decade, I've traveled the world. I own my own house. I own my own business. I have a travel business, and I love what I do. So what I visualized many years ago, the reason why it's come true is because I have not only got focused, but I know how to stay focused. Using my imagination. That's where the real magic is. All right, we got 10 minutes left. I would like to show you one more thing, if that would be possible. I think we'll do this. Yeah, that'd be fun. Most people think that they are unique in that what they write down is unique to them. But there's about 5 things that people focus on in their life. Just about 5 things. That's about it. The first thing is health. And I would symbolize health by a circle like that. So what I mean by that is when you ask people what's important to you, what's important to you, what's important to you, a lot of people will say their health. You know, they feel older, they're forgetting things, or maybe they struggle, you know, in their health. Health is important. The circle has no ending, no beginning, and it's this idea of wholeness. The other thing is relationships, and this is seen by 2 lines. It's like an X or a cross. It could be spiritual relationships. It could be relationships with people. But you ask people, I've been doing this hundreds of times, right? All over the world. You ask people, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It's health. I want health, or I want family, or I want a relationship. Big deal. These are things that everybody thinks about. Here's the next one. Other one is currency. And the way I make this is 3 lines like that. It's like water. Currency, it's money. It's what money can buy. I want to go on a trip. I want to go buy a new car. I want to get a new house. I want to make more money. This is what people think about. The next one is emotions. You know, it looks like a house or a foundation. It's where people live emotionally. It really is. This has to do with feeling joy, feeling love, not feeling depressed, not feeling anxious, right? So when I've done this all over the world, people say to me, I want to change my health, I want to change my relationships, I want to make more money, or I want to feel better about myself emotionally. And then the last one is their calling. Their calling or their career. And that's a star. See the star? So raise your hand if I hit on one of the things that you wrote down. In other words, what you wrote down has to do with your health, has to do with relationships, more money, or what money could buy, or your emotions, or with career. Raise your hand. So all right. So none of you guys wrote down anything that I had to talk about. Okay, that's fine.
I'll volunteer what I wrote.
You know what? Tell me your first name.
Michael.
Michael. Can I write down Mike?
Sure.
All right. We did not set this up. Mike, I'm writing Mike because it's easy. Okay? All right. So did I come close with you? All right, so we'll just work with Mike right now. Mike, I'm going to ask you to think of one of these. One of these. So think about health, think about relationships, think about money, think about emotions, or think about career. Think about one of those. All right? You got one?
Sure. It's obvious. One is health. You know, you want health.
Okay, right. What did you write down on your card?
Productivity.
What, productivity?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. What is your first name again? Oh, we have 2 Michaels and the other Michael. The other Michael was here. I know. All right. So I want you to think of one of these things. A circle, an X, squiggly lines, square, or a star. Okay. We didn't set this up, even though there's 2. You know, I got to tell you something. I've been doing this for years. I have never seen so many men in the audience. I don't know why. Just how it is. All right. Did you think of the circle? I thought so that's what I wrote down. The reason why I wrote it down is because most people, when you talk to most people say, I'm concerned about my health, I'm concerned about money, I'm concerned about relationships, I want a bigger family. It's universal, and we think that it's different. It's not different. Ma'am, what is your first name?
Carol.
Carol, can you come up? All right. Carol, would you sit over here? And I need somebody else. Let me see. Did you help me? You don't want to help me, though. No, you don't want to help me. Okay. All right. You sure you don't want to help me? Oh, that's right. All right. Let me see. Do you want to help? Want to come up again? Oh, come on up. All right. Good. All right. So we're going to use imagination. This is all about imagination. We're going to close with this. So take your fingers like this. What's your first name?
Carol.
Carol, that's right. Take your fingers like this and hold up your 2 fingers like that. Hold up your 2 fingers like that. What you're going to notice is that there's a space between your 2 fingers. But what's going to happen is, hold them apart, just apart. What you're going to notice is they're going to come closer and closer together. Then your fingers are going to come closer and closer. Look how her fingers are coming together. Her fingers are coming closer together. Are your fingers coming closer together? Okay, excellent. All right, so you can put down your fingers. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look into this mirror. And And I'd like you to think about what you wrote down over there, which you didn't show anybody. Don't tell anybody. But all you want to do is I want you to look into the mirror. You see yourself? All right. Do you see yourself as well? You see yourself? All right. Now I want you to use your imagination. You're going to use your imagination. I want you to look into the mirror, but I want you to imagine that you're seeing her.
Okay.
So you got to use your imagination. Look into the mirror. All right? You got to use your imagination. Just using your imagination. Look into the mirror and think of her. All right? So what are we doing? We know there's a connection between these two people. Because most people want the same things in life. They want love, they want family, they want relationships, they want money. All right? Now we're just using your imagination. We're just using your imagination. This is what it would be like to read minds, but it's not really that way. So face forward, look into the mirror. Okay? Now, look into the mirror. All right? Now, you wrote down something when you got here. Did you tell anybody?
No.
All right, great. When you looked into the mirror, what did you see? Say it out loud.
Family.
You hear what he said? You hear what he said? What did you write down?
Family.
She wrote down family. She saw it. Now, this is interesting. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I promise not to embarrass either one of you. But I want you to be very cautious and conscious of what you see. Because we've talked about seeing things. And I also want you to be aware of what you're feeling. You're feeling and seeing and hearing. Especially what you feel. Especially what you feel. Especially what you hear. Now I want you to count down in your mind with me from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now with your eyes closed, if you felt a tap or a tap, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Great. Put your hand down. If you could, point into the direction that you felt the tap or taps. Excellent. Put your hand down. Excellent. 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 All right. Now I'd like you to open your eyes. This applause is for you. Give them an applause. All right. Now, if they can pull this off, I think we ought to give them a standing ovation. Standing ovation. So here's what we'll do. I have a die right here. See it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a cup. I want you to shake that up so that you don't know what the number is. So you don't know what the number is. And there's no way, did we work this out beforehand? Yes or no? Did we talk beforehand? Did we know each other? No, we've never met. We've never met. Do you know her at all? Okay, what's the number on the die? What is it? Say it.
6.
Excellent. Shake it again. I want you to make sure it's not a loaded die. What do you got now? What do you got now?
3.
Okay, good. Shake it up one more time. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I'm going to ask you to put your fingers in your ears and then just listen to what you hear. In a moment, but not now. What do you got now?
4.
4. Want to shake it one more time? Now, if they get this, if they connect and get this, I think we ought to give them a standing ovation. All right, what do you got now?
5.
Huh?
5.
Okay, now I want you to shake it, and I don't want you to look at it.
Okay.
I don't want her to see it, and then I want you to stop. You have no idea what it is, okay? All right, let's see. Close your eyes. Put your fingers in your ears. Go ahead and do that now. Now you're going to feel something right at your forehead, and you're actually going to hear something. Who knows if this will work? If the connection is good between both of them. We're using imagination. And in the process of imagination, it's possible. Did you hear it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell her what you heard.
6.
What do you got?
6.
Are you sure? All right. Look at that. I think we gave her a standing ovation, don't you think?